Now we move on to Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared that Israel will maintain security control over the entire area from the Jordan's river to the sea, including the Gaza Strip. Speaking on governance and security in Gaza, Netanyahu has emphasized that a Palestinian state in Gaza will not happen and reaffirmed his efforts to prevent its establishment. He has also ruled out the presence of Turkish or Qatari forces on the ground in Gaza following concerns over their involvement in post-war governance. Netanyahu has stated that Israel is vetting officials for Gaza to ensure that no members of Hamas's military wing are included in the technocratic committee managing day-to-day affairs. He has also added that the priority remains dismantling Hamas and preventing the Palestinian Authority from controlling Gaza while ensuring the functioning of essential services and salaries as well. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Sol Sadka. He's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Mr. Sadka, for staying with us. Now, what more can you tell us about this latest statements from Netanyahu?
Well, Netanyahu has been clear for many, many years that he does not see a place for any kind of armed non-Israeli presence in the area that goes between the Jordan River Valley and the Mediterranean Sea. And that is the area of the historical British mandate that was then planned to be divided up into two states for Arabs and Jews, that the Jews accepted and the Arabs did not. And time has now passed. The Arabs in the region have attacked the Jews on at least 7 occasions, trying to remove them entirely from the Middle East and return them to other parts of the world. And that failed. And those failures have consequences. And the consequences are that the Jews in the area, who have their state now called Israel, have enough power and enough control to say, we are going to be the people who have a monopoly on violence in this region. Because if we don't have a monopoly on violence in this very specific region, there will be inevitable and constant conflict. And if we do have it, then we can ensure that things are relatively stable and safe here. And while Netanyahu himself in 2009 even joined the team that said he wants to see an Arab state, a Palestinian state, he said that with very strict guidelines, and he was very clear that that would be a demilitarized state. The prospects in the next 25 years of any kind of demilitarized Arab state are very poor, but it could be that if there is a generation raised towards peace, instead of being raised on textbooks that are full of plans for violent genocide against their neighbors, then it could be that in 25, 50 years, it will be possible to have some kind of Arab autonomy within that land. However, Netanyahu sets a position which is absolutely within the Israeli mainstream, and I think there are very few people in Israel now, after what we've seen in the past couple of years, who would disagree with him, that there can be no compromise on the issue of the fact that nobody else is going to have a military force here, because the land is too small, and there is no space for that. If that happens, there will be endless conflict, endless bloody war.
And can you tell us so far, what do we know about this technocratic committee? Who is invited, who's not, or who's taking place, and who is Netanyahu comfortable with taking place?
Well, Netanyahu has been very clear that he doesn't want certain people on the board. There have been compromises in this regard, and it's entirely uncertain exactly how it's going to work out. In the end, the technocratic committee is not going to be able to function in a serious way until Hamas is wiped out from the yellow zone of Gaza that they still control and have now for 6 months. They still continue to act there. The Israelis, in theory, can go in, they control the perimeter, but all the people of Gaza live within that yellow line zone, and they are under the day-to-day control, mostly, of Hamas. And there is no technocratic committee which is going to be able to stand against Hamas, because the technocratic committee isn't going to have any guns. Hamas have the monopoly on violence. And there's no prospect of that changing in the near future, because there's no one, including Israel, motivated to go in there and remove Hamas of their arms. What happens is entirely unknowable. But the technocratic committee can sit there, they can have all their members, and they can have meetings, but in practice, until Hamas is disarmed, somehow, which is not going to happen soon, they don't have any real power. So it barely matters who is on their board. They are just another talking shop, like a UN committee or something.
With that, I would like to thank Mr. Sol Satka for joining us today from Tel Aviv.